It was back in March of this year that GMAuthority.com brought you the very first spy shots of the all-new next generation 2027 Silverado 1500. Roughly a month thereafter, we showed you photos of another 2027 Silverado 1500, that being the Silverado ZR2. And now we have some more spy shots for you, this time of the non-ZR2 model. So let's get to it.
MOTROLIX.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Alex Luft. So the photos that we're about to show you were captured by GMAuthority.com reader John R., who captured these as the trucks were driving on the highway. And that's a very big departure from what we've seen before, because the prototypes that we did show you in the past, all of those were captured really not on public roads. Let's just put it that way. So the truck that you're going to see here, this truck, it is wearing a whole bunch of camouflage. But nevertheless, we can still tell that this is the short bed crew cab model, and the overall size of the truck does appear to be identical to that of the current model as well. However, the stance seems to be more level front to back, and that's really great news for those who like a level appearance and also kind of a level stance altogether. Now, we can't tell which trim level this one is, but it does seem to be wearing the Z71 off-road package just by looking at the tires. Now, starting at the front, check out that big upright front fascia that features a set of placeholder headlamps bookending a grille with at least as far as I can count, 4 horizontal slats and a front-facing camera peeking out from behind the cutout in the camo. Now, when I say placeholder headlights, what I mean is non-production headlights. In any event, the headlamps are mounted quite a bit lower within the front fascia than those on the current Silverado 1500. We've already seen a prototype with production intent headlamps, but what's interesting about this particular one that John caught was that it has placeholder daytime running lights, and they are on. It's these vertical lights that we see right here. And we haven't seen these on any other prototype before. As we move lower within the front fascia, we can see a set of fog lights placed within the front bumper, along with a sensor array, a set of secondary small intakes, and a front lower air dam all the way at the bottom. Also note that this prototype is not equipped with the roof-mounted fin. In fact, it's nowhere to be found. And that's quite interesting because it also represents a big departure from the 2014 model year all the way through now. All of these models have had the comms fin off center on top of the roof, essentially right over the driver. So what exactly GM and Chevrolet are doing when it comes to the roof-mounted fin? Well, I guess that is something that we will need to wait to find out. Moving to the side, I see a set of wheels with some creative camouflage applied to the spokes. We can't quite tell what tires this tester is using, but the prior one that we saw before in March, that one rolled on a set of Goodyear Wrangler Territory tires, and the tread pattern does seem to be an all-terrain or an AT pattern to me. The mirrors on this prototype also seem to be carryovers from the current trucks, but I should say that they do appear to be sitting on a new kind of a pedestal mount. Check out the vertically oriented LED strips on the front part of the mirrors. These are not the turn signal indicators. Instead, they provide perimeter lighting functionality in exactly the same way as the current trucks do. There's also an extended length fixed running board finished in black that we can see spanning the wheelbase. At the back of the cab, I can also spot a sliding rear window, but its general configuration and shape and really the implementation seems to have been revised compared to the current model. Whereas the current Silverado and Sierra feature a square-shaped sliding rear window, bookended at the top and the bottom by a set of plastic trim pieces, the one on this prototype has rounded corners and does not have the plastic bits. I suspect, and I don't have an official statement on this is by no means official, but I do suspect that the reason for the change is that the plastic trim pieces that are seen on the current model, they are prone to cracking. And when that happens, there is water intrusion that gets into the rear window there. So I imagine that GM has found a way to redesign this window so as to address this issue. The taillights on this 2027 Silverado prototype are heavily camouflaged, but the lighting seems to be production ready with a modern LED signature that seems to extend forward more than the current Silverado 1500. The tailgate and bumper are similarly heavily camouflaged, but the corner step feature is present and accounted for, as is a tow hitch receiver with all of the trailering connection points. Below the rear bumper is a new quad-tipped exhaust setup. Now, this design started out on the C8 Corvette Stingray and has since made its way to the 2024 Traverse, the 2025 Tahoe, as well as the 2025 Chevy Suburban. These tips have also made their way to essentially the stablemates of these models at GMC, such as the Acadia, the Yukon, and the Yukon XL, respectively. The quad-tipped exhaust definitely adds a sporty undertone to the rear end, replacing the HDMI-style tips on the current trucks. As for what's under the hood, we already know that GM's 6th generation small block V8 architecture will be announced and launched in the 2027 Silverado 1500. GM Brass previously confirmed that these engines will see a 4 to 6% improvement in efficiency at launch over the mid-cycle enhancement of the Silverado as well as the Sierra that were introduced for the 2022 and a half model year. And though this bit has not been confirmed by GM, I do fully expect to also see performance improvements in conjunction with the efficiency improvements. Now, beyond the new gas small blocks, the turbocharged L3B 4-cylinder Turbomax engine, as well as the 3-liter turbo diesel LZ0 Duramax engine, should return in the next generation trucks. And also, our sources tell us that a plug-in hybrid variant will become available during the first 2 years of the next generation truck's launch. As for the architecture, GMAuthority.com was the very first to tell you that these next generation 27 Silverado, as well as its platform and stablemate, the GMC Sierra, these trucks will ride on an updated version of the T1 architecture that underpins the existing trucks. That new updated version of the T1 platform will simply be called T1-2. Our sources indicate that the T1 platform that underpins the current models is essentially flexible enough to accommodate all of the necessary changes and updates for the next gen full-size trucks without requiring the development of an all-new platform. This will also enable GM to keep costs low and streamline development of the new full-sizers as per GM's winning with simplicity strategy. We still expect the 2027 Silverado 1500 to launch toward the tail end of 2026 as a 2027 model, which will enable GM to beat the next-gen Ford F-150 to market, since the Ford was recently delayed by 1 model year. We will have a whole bunch more information, photos, videos, you name it. We'll have a lot more of it at gmauthority.com and on the channel right here. John, thank you so much for the photos. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure that our readers and viewers do as well. For gmauthority.com and the MOTROLIX Network, I'm Alex Luft. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
MOTROLIX.